Craving the coffee flavor you love, but without the caffeine? Kachava's got you covered with their newest coffee flavor. This all-in-one nutrition shake delivers bold, authentic flavor, crafted from premium decaffeinated Brazilian beans. With 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, and so much more. Treat yourself to the flavor and nutrition your body craves. Go to kachava.com and use code FITNESS. New customers get 15% off their first order. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Three Geeks conversation. Today, me and Justin are joined by the one and only legendary Felicia Day.
Hello everybody, I just put my lipstick on.
There you go. How are you today?
You know, I mentioned that I was a little frazzled. Things are a little wild, and I don't think my brain is keeping up with what I'm doing with it. And I have 17 different tabs open, and I'm missing appointments. And I'm just like, Felicia, you are doing too much, but I can't quite not do it. So we just got to get through it and then do less later. So I'm great.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling so hard.
I know. It's just so hard, especially when you're doing stuff you love. It's just so hard to say no. And you're like, wait a minute, I should not be doing this, but I can't say no, but you could say no, but then you'll miss out. And the FOMO is real, right?
Yeah, the FOMO is real.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. Awesome.
So you just wrapped your book tour for your newest graphic novel, The Lost Daughter of Sparta.
I did. You have a copy. I was literally about to go get one, but thank you so much for showing it. You are a pro.
So good.
Thank you.
What inspired this story?
A lot of different things inspired that story, but mostly my daughter and COVID and just my love of mythology and insomnia. There are a lot of things. Like I said, to be clear, I think the biggest thing was COVID, just because it kind of shut the world down. And I finally had the bandwidth and the time and the mental space and the confidence to write something that was a little different than what I usually do. I am, a Hollywood person. I'm always freelancing and trying to get new jobs and things like that. As an actor, I work a lot. As a producer and a writer, I was pitching a lot. Nobody really loves my ideas. I mean, I did the Guild and I've done a lot of writing, but some people aren't aren't for some people. And so hitting my head against the wall was really frustrating for a lot of years. And when COVID hit and I had this idea after reading a lot of Greek mythology to my kid, I said, you can do this idea, even though it won't become a movie, do something you love. And so it was wonderful to have space in my life to do something a little different, but also something I just can't wait to share with my daughter, which I did. And I dedicated the book to her too.
I love that. And Hollywood needs to get it together because the Guild was also amazing.
Well, I'm bringing that back on my own terms. So again, I'm the kind of girl who, like I tell my daughter, everybody's not for everybody, but there's always somebody for you.
Yeah.
And so you can't get angry. You just have to be like, I'm going to work where it works. And I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
Yep. You take the one no and you just take it somewhere else.
Turn it into an on. Which doesn't make sense, but if it worked, that would be a cool thing.
So what Greek mythology were you delving into? Did you come right out of the Iliad and be like, I need to do more like Greek mythology?
Well, my daughter, I love folklore and mythology, and I read books about that from when she was like 1 and 2 years old. There are these great little myths books by Leslie Petrocelli, like Medusa, comb your hair. And so she loved those books. And then we went to like picture books about Greek mythology and other kind of mythology. And when I had insomnia at night, I was like, all those Greek myths that you're reading to your kid, you really haven't really deep dived into the Odyssey yourself. So I started reading that. And then I started reading other things. And it tended to calm me down enough so that I could go to sleep, but was interesting enough to keep my attention. And so then I would just Wikipedia my way through names that were mentioned in places just to kind of like nerd out over how everything is intertwined in a lot of these stories. And I found this character named Philonoe, who is the littlest sister of Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman who ever lived, who created was the impetus for the Trojan War and the Iliad and the Odyssey. And I was like, why is there only one line about this chick? So And it ties her to the goddess Artemis in a way where I just kind of thought, I want to write a story about these two and tell the story that has been lost to time, if there was one back then, which there was, because the fragment was in history from 300 BC. So yeah, it's a very weird, windy, nerdy way to get here. But at the end of the day, I wrote a story that empowers people, and I think that people are enjoying it. So yeah, it's great.
Definitely. I love that kind of feminist retelling. It's amazing, amazing book, guys. Like,
oh, that's so sweet.
Have to go see it. Have to go get it, read it, all the things.
I'm not as cool as Destiny. Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, you haven't read it, Justin?
No. I have the audiobook. I said I'm not as cool as Destiny. I listened to you read it to me.
That was an interesting exercise to turn a graphic novel into an audiobook, but it actually, I was really proud of it. It was like doing a play.
Yeah. And that kind of brought up a thought of the gods and goddesses. And you mentioned Artemis. How did you intertwine more? Because that was a very Greek mythology thing. It's like they walk among us. You could bump into them at a random temple. Like, how did you pull that in or think about which ones to include?
Well, the fragment of the historical fragment is that, I mean, a little bit of a spoiler, but not really, that Philinoe was turned immortal by Artemis. That's literally all I read, and all that exists about this character. And so I was so, wait, what? Like, you get immortalized and yet there's no story there? And Artemis has always been one of my favorite characters. And I definitely, at my age, feel a lot of retrospective, like, not resentment, maybe a little bit, but of like the injustice of women kind of having their paths shaped in ways that aren't to their benefit because of the inequality that there is in our current life. But certainly back then, if you look back at it, Greek women, they would be married at like 12 and 13 to 30-year-old men. That was the standard, and especially the nobility or the higher class people. And women were sequestered in their houses, and they had to wear, it was a lot more misogynist than I thought when I started diving into the actual history of it. And when you tell your daughter contemporaneously in this world where we're much, things are great. I would not want to time travel because like women do have it best here.
Yeah.
I think. But at the end of the day, like you tell your daughter stories about princesses getting given to men all the time. And I'm like, oh, wait, we're not really that different right now. We're actually telling these stories to girls. And they can't help but absorb this as sort of, men's needs are more important than mine. And I don't even think it's conscious in a lot of the way that we make our decisions. And that's what, really inspired me to write a story. At least question what's going on, you guys, and know that you're equal and worthy just the way you are. Yeah, that's really the heart of it. So yeah, it's a feminist journey, but, hopefully, and I've heard that, men can take a lot from this too, because they're just as trapped in cliches and telling them how to behave and who they should be and all of it, and it's all needless because we're all just equal.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. While we're on the topic of books, though, what inspired Vaginal Fantasy Book Club? Because I absolutely love it. And I've actually added so many things to my TBR list.
That's so great.
Love that.
Yeah, that's something I stopped doing about 8 years ago, and there were just a lot of reasons. But, it's really nice that back in 2012, I did a book club dedicated to romantasy, and now I'm always 10 years too early. I don't know why, but I love it, and I still read a lot of romantasy, and I love the fact that it's flourishing and dominating all the book charts now. Not doing that book club. It's run now by fans, so you could still read along with the groups.
I was gonna say, there's still some like things being added, like recently as well.
No. There's still books. There's still a small club, but we don't do the broadcasts anymore, and it's really sad to me. But it just kind of was, part and parcel to a lot of things that we just talked about. Like if you do too much, then you don't have time for, And when I became a mom, it was just like, whoa, girl, you have to cut things off. And that was hard, but it actually was better for me because if you have to be ruthless, then you'll only concentrate on really matters to you, right?
Right. Exactly. But I love that. And there are some incredible book recommendations on there.
Yes, there are. The whole list is amazing. And again, romantasy hipster right here. Now I do have a really prolific Goodreads account still. I do. So if you want to check it out, you could see all of those vaginal fantasy books, which are under vaginal fantasy, but also all the other stuff I read. I read a lot of lit RPG now. I read a lot of nonfiction. All the books that inspired me to write Philinoe are on there under mythology and history. So I update it very frequently with what I read. So if you want to know what I'm reading now, definitely go to my Goodreads.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
So when you were writing this book, when did you know, like, oh, this is a full story. I have a book here, because you've written a lot of books. Like, I'm sure you have a process. So how did you know, like, man, this could be something?
I've written 2 nonfiction books, my autobiography and a creativity book that's sort of an autobiography as well, but it's more interactive. But I'd never written, and I've written all the seasons of The Guild, and I've written a lot of pilots that never went anywhere, and but I have never written a novel or a graphic novel. I wrote Guild comics, but it's a little different than writing like sort of this is it, beginning and end kind of thing. And it was tough. I didn't know that it was a thing. I just kind of liked the idea of this character. And I liked the idea of researching something. I love research. And so like me kind of playing with characters, kind of writing down interesting backstories that I sort of deep dived into. I mean, I'm by no means a classicist, although I would love to just go back to college and just do this and romantic poetry and all that stuff, but not for me, maybe when I'm retired. But I did love, I just loved playing around with the idea of Artemis, the goddess, because I feel like she's almost always was very lonely to me. And for some reason, when I started playing around with like themes and what they could be doing together, and like they just kind of came together in a really beautiful way. And nothing is instantaneous. I think it was just allowing myself the freedom to play with it and not have to force it. I think that's what really some really special creativity comes from that, like giving yourself the freedom to play as an adult, which we don't often, because we all have deadlines and we're all like, move and produce. And, that's not really where I think the best stuff comes from.
Agreed. Would you say kind of your creative process for the Guild was similar in like really putting together those characters?
The characters for sure. And that's what I usually do. I always start from characters that are interesting and play around with what I want to put them through and what they could go through. The Guild started with a bunch of brainstorms of the original characters for sure. And they changed actually. And then I had to come up with a story, which is always the hard part. But for Philinoe, the star of Lost Daughter of Sparta, I wanted to craft her journey like Heracles or Perseus or Jason or any of the ancient Greek heroes that we all know about. So that allowed me to analyze what they did. And of course, Joseph Campbell's, The Hero's Journey, that outlines exactly what he kind of dissected and influences almost all storytelling nowadays. And then I kind of turned anything that was kind of boring to me on its head, right? So the monsters in this book, in the graphic novel, are not monsters per se. They're all just kind of teaching Philinoe some interesting things. I mean, they are monsters, but who's to say what a monster is, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what, so formatting that. And because graphic novels are so simple, more simple in storytelling than even screenplays, which are actually pretty simple, it makes you be really ruthless and pack a lot into a little, which is actually harder than just writing and just writing 100, it is harder. It's like distilling it into a broth. So, I definitely learned a lot of stuff in this process, and it took 6 years from the beginning to end. So it was a little too long. Yeah, it was a little too long, but I think the efforts and the time that I put into it and the revision after revision after revision and working with the artist. And then I'm sorry, my dog is just so obnoxious.
That's okay.
She sucks. But yeah, it just got a lot of layers to it that I think add to sort of hopefully it being something that you can reread for many, many, many times.
Yeah. My daughter's very big into Greek mythology. She discovered the epic musical.
I know. It's incredible.
So good. She turns 12 Sunday, and she's already planning her 13th birthday because she wants to have an epic birthday so she can make it her biggest birthday.
Oh my God. Well, she's the perfect age for this. I mean, this book was written for YA and up. My daughter, who's 9, read it. And some of the themes I think she didn't get, but there's certainly nothing wrong with it. But I think 12 and 13-year-olds, every time I've gone around the country, they come up to me and they're just sobbing. And I feel so good at their sobbing, but it's not in a good way. Like, I just feel like, and this is my love letter to kids, like all women, but especially women who are trying to find themselves, whatever phase of life you're in, who you're trying to find yourself, you have to realize you're worthy of being loved for who you are, not because somebody told you to do something, or not because you have to achieve to make people love you. Like, that's the opposite. I think women especially need to learn that, but everybody can use that lesson because we're all kind of conditionally loved in one time or another in our lives.
Yeah, when I read it, I was like, this is something she has to read now that I'm done.
Oh, that's fantastic. I really hope she enjoys it.
Well, she has a spinoff, Little Geeks. So, maybe we get you back on to talk to her if she does.
That's amazing. I would 100% do that. That's so cute.
So part of a graphic novel is the illustration part of it. Was it hard to find the right art and the illustrator part of it and telling your story visually?
I finished the whole script, and then we compiled a list of artists that would be good for it. And I kind of was really specific about the kind of art I wanted. I didn't want it to be too YA leaning, with big round faces and big eyes, because I didn't want adult women to feel like they weren't included in this journey. Like, no one says, oh, Jason's story, Hercules' story, that's just for this age. No, these are stories that are universal. They were told in, taverns. They were told around campfires. They were told in front of temple. Like, these are stories for everyone, to enjoy, and they're layered with lessons, but also they're just layered with humanity. And so I was really very firm on that. And when I stumbled across Moa McCall's work on her website, I was just struck by how emotional her faces were and how great she did monsters. And I knew that I needed those two things. I wanted to emotionally connect with the characters and then also have really cool, fantastical elements. And actually, it was really hard to find somebody like that. I went through like 1,000 artists in a spreadsheet to look and see who I really resonated with. And I love her work.
That's amazing. Yeah. I imagine it would be hard because, when you write things, you kind of have a vision in your head of what you're seeing. So to tell somebody and to let them see it and hope they see the same thing would be very difficult.
Yeah, it just depends on the kind of writer you are for graphic novels. Like, a lot of graphic novelists, they do art and writing themselves. And God bless, I would love to do that, but that is my blind spot. But then when people are writing and another person is illustrating, there are all different ways to work together. Some people just write the script and send it off and be like, hey, can't wait to see what you do with it. I was very specific in my paneling because I didn't have a collaborator at first, so I didn't know who I was going to get. And I was like, well, I know how I want this to look. So every single panel and every single page turn was already planned when I sent it off, but then I gave her the freedom to change stuff. And, we went back and forth a lot about cutting because I overwrote it because it's so easy to overwrite. And then just time and time again, we go back and forth, and everything she added was so much better than what I would have imagined. So I would say like 80% is similar to what I gave her, and then she kind of tweaked a lot to be more impactful in so many different ways. And then after that, I probably cut like a third, not a third, but at least a fifth or a fourth of all the dialogue just got cut because it's like, well, your picture did the work. I don't need to say anything.
Yeah, I love that when the picture can say the words without having to say them. That's a powerful illustrator for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
With so much potentially cut, is there a second book? You being too busy for your own good? Like, is there a chance for a second?
I don't think I'm going to be able to spend another 6 years on a graphic novel. My focus is the Guild Kickstarter, which is going to be announced next week or the week after, and that's going to run this summer. And I have the movie done. We did a read through, and we're so excited to premiere it to everybody. And hopefully people support, and we can shoot a movie this year.
That's amazing.
But if, I know we're going to make it. I also have another autobiography I'm working on, a sequel to my autobiography, and a novel I'm working on. So I think I'm going to just take the timeline in my own hands and not do any art.
Yeah.
It just is a much longer process. And that wasn't on Rowan. It was just a lot of the things was COVID delays and other things. Like, we probably could have released it 2 years ago, but honestly, it's releasing at the right time because the Odyssey's coming out this summer, and hopefully people are more excited and interested in the project, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I am thrilled about the guild.
I am too.
You'll have to share that Kickstarter with us. We will 100% share it with this video because
that's wonderful.
We know people will 100% join in on that. I know a lot. We've all talked about it too, even in our group chats. We're like, wonder if that's ever coming back. And
yeah, no, well, it's our 20th anniversary next year. So actually for the last several years, I've been planning on making the 20th anniversary year the year we make something again.
That's amazing.
I didn't, there was no way that anything Hollywood would ever fund as a movie. I'm sorry. Especially nowadays, Hollywood is in such distress right now. Yeah. And if they read the script, they would have all these notes and they'd have me put people I don't want. And then they have feedback. And I don't know, man, I was the first one to ever put a PayPal button up and raise money for a film in this way because Kickstarter wasn't invented back then. And I've helped so many other people with their careers and their Kickstarters. And I absolutely am so glad to have been a part of it. But this is my time to say, hey, if you like my work, if you ever wanted to support me to make something, this is my baby. This is it. And I'm really certain that this script is going to be really fun for everybody and celebrate everything you loved about the show. So,
yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot believe it's been 20 years.
I don't either. I just said it doesn't even seem real.
No,
I don't understand. I know. I don't understand.
Where did that time go?
Well, we still look good.
There you go. I like it.
Well, speaking of being a founder and being ahead of the curve, I would love to hear your story about Geek and Sundry if you have time. Like that whole thing, like the curation of Critical Role that coming out of it, like that had to be a wild time. Just starting it and kind of going forward, like.
I mean, it was all just cool. Getting an idea and going with it. It was a nice time to be creative and love content. Nobody was doing what we did. It was my just whim. Hey, let's get a D&D group on here and just happen to accidentally know the most talented people, and then building them up with a big company. We had a big company at the time and having that support and being able to build something from scratch that was new. I mean, you don't get to do that a lot. And I kind of, it's so funny that now what I did back then is so more mainstream, but nobody would get behind me on any of it. Tabletop, Critical Role, like all of it was me fighting to get any support to do something that was different, because I don't think it's interesting to do something that's not different. But understandably, when you're putting your money on the line, you want to have a proven commodity. You want to make sure you're not just wasting money. And we had a lot of shows and some of them did well, some of them didn't. But at the end of the day, we created community in a way that I think now is flourishing. And I love it because it's just fantastic. Sometimes I miss being able to do that. But honestly, I put so much effort into building other people up. And I was, I neglected myself, and that's okay. But now, ever since I had a kid, I was like, okay, you can't do all these things, right? And what do you, your own creativity needs to be the priority, and your daughter. So that's kind of what I focus in on. Would I love to make another season of a tabletop-like show? Of course. I would just want to be in all the episodes.
As you should.
Yeah, exactly.
And that had been my thought before. I was like, you were so far ahead of the game with all that stuff. Like looking at your channel and stuff, I was like, it's incredible how much, like, you were, to your point, 10 years ahead of the game. Like you knew what was up. Well,
I mean, I like to say that we set the template for things that people then took and ran with and made a financial success. Because again, Geek and Sundry, it was all a lot of an experimenting. And the fact that people now can have an actual career in this area in geek entertainment is like, I was just ahead. Again, I'm ahead of the curve, but that's okay.
You are, so they could run. It's okay.
Oh, I love the way you said that. That's nice. But I'm excited. I mean, it's exciting just when I go to a con to see how many more dice makers there are and how many wonderful D&D performers there are in this world. And, it's lovely. So I love being a part of geekdom, partly because, like when you sit around a gaming table, you don't have a color of skin. You don't have a gender. You're just playing together, ideally. And I think it happens a lot more in this world. Yeah. Or at least my idealistic self says that. It's the way I've always approached it. Geek and Sundry was created by women, and we had such a beautiful, diverse, people behind the camera and in front of the camera. And so many people's careers are just like so big now who started on my Twitch channel or whatever. And I can only be super proud. I guess it's like a mama proud of everybody. Sure. And, you know, hopefully they call mom sometimes. That's all I ask.
There you go. Yeah. You know, in kind of the TV and movie world, like, I mean, that geek culture has kind of been shown in a more positive light in recent years, you know, where it hadn't been before. Do you think that that's kind of helped some people's maybe like preconceived notions about like RPG and D&D and things like that?
I don't know, man. I think that there's in the niche and there's out of the niche, and maybe the out of the niche people have more understanding of what's going on in there. But, you know, I think a lot of media got saturated with a lot of geek stuff. I mean, like, look at what Marvel's been doing and DC. Like, everybody's been having to pivot because it got too commercialized, right? And people who were not necessarily super into something were trying to make things more open for people, or they were too inside. Like, you know, you don't want to like be like, I don't know who this Marvel character is. I have no idea. Why should I care? So like, it's kind of complicated, and we just got to remember that most of this stuff is about making money.
Yeah.
On everybody's part, right? We're all just trying to survive and find a niche where we flourish. And, you know, it is what it is. As long as you can do something for a little while that you love, that's like the best, you know, it's just a blessing.
Most definitely.
Are there any more Third Eye audiobooks coming out? I really dug that. I listened to that a lot.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You know, this one regret I have for that project is that people who were hard of hearing or deaf can never experience it. So I'd love to revisit it. Maybe not just audio only. That was that one also took 6 years. Well, boy, I wrote that script in like 2014, the first one, the pilot, and I pitched as a TV series and nobody wanted to do it. And it was so devastating to me that I just kind of curled up and didn't write for several years. And then when Audible came to me, and that was like right before COVID. So really, I would say that actually The Lost Daughter of Sparta and Third Eye are kind of hand in hand, and me just kind of going for it and being like, I'm not going to abandon my babies. I'm not going to abandon my ideas because I know they're good. And I understand they're not for you. And I'm not going to be pissy about that. Like, you know, I'm not going to demand that somebody buy a boot they don't want to wear. Right.
Right.
But that's not saying that my boot, you know, is a bad boot. It's just not for you. And I guess that's kind of philosophically, like, I just need to be in that space to be able to just be like, you know, I still love this.
Yeah, I love that. I like to say all the time, like, I mean, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because not everybody likes tea, but it doesn't mean tea is bad.
You're very good at slogans.
Thank you. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I should get into slogans.
Yeah, or like t-shirts or cups.
Hey, there we go.
Destiny, the cup lady. I mean,
yeah.
So good.
I would be
my mugs.
With as much as I love coffee, I could have the best time making cups.
Oh boy, listen, I wish I could have coffee anymore. It hurts my stomach. Tea does too, but I still do it. I do it every morning because it's better than coffee. Oh.
Is it the caffeine that gets you?
You know, I've always had terrible acid reflux, and I don't know what it is. It flares up sometimes. I think it's pretty stress related, but also if I eat certain things, I know I'm allergic to, like avocado. This is my old lady speak. I can't have peppers. Any kind of grease is really bad for my tummy. I can't have red meat at night. Like, just like all these things I've learned about my body. I'm like, why can't you just function, body?
Why can't you just work with me?
Why can't you just work with me, man? So I can't have sugar, but I eat it anyway. And I'm like, well, am I going to get throat cancer one day? Probably. But then I can't turn down that shaved ice.
You know, that's like me being lactose intolerant, but I still love cheese dip at Mexican, and I still get milkshakes because
I know
they're so good.
Listen, life is so short. You got to enjoy yourself.
I love this shaved ice is what's gets you.
That's what I got.
I had things.
No, I had it yesterday. Well, it's pure sugar and water, but I had it yesterday. And if you ever come to LA, you got to go to Kiwana Thai Shaved Ice on Hollywood Boulevard. And there's a great Thai restaurant next door to it if you want to eat and then go. But if you like mango sticky rice, they have mango sticky rice shave ice. That is literally the best thing I think I've ever had in my life. It is so good. And now mangoes are in season. They only serve it when the mangoes are in season.
That sounds so good.
Man, it is so good. They make their own ice cream that goes in it. It's so, I can't even describe. There's sticky rice in it. They give you a ball of sticky rice in it. So it's hot sticky rice in a shaved ice with mango sorbet and a mango and ice. Oh, whipped cream's on it. I don't know what to tell you, man.
That sounds incredible. It sounds way more than shaved ice. We're talking.
I'd risk it too.
It's gigantic. It's gigantic.
I'd risk it too. Who wouldn't?
We should slap your Kickstarter on those cups that they give out just for that specific one. We'll clip this out and you just have a commercial. Big grip. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Let's collab. I'll make the cups.
You make the mug. We'll put the shaved ice in it. We'll have a QR code on the other side to the Kickstarter. Boom.
Perfect.
Marketing genius. Marketing genius. Yep.
So I have to ask.
Please. Yeah, sorry, Justin. Go ahead. No, please.
Me and my husband are both super theater nerds. So we love Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Oh, well, you have
what was it like playing the role of Penny?
It was fantastic. It was like we were shooting something. We were doing it during the writer's strike. So it was kind of a rebellion against Hollywood. Like, you don't want to make this? We're going to make it ourselves. So that's the zeitgeist with which I like to do everything. You know, like, you don't want me to do this? I'm going to do it myself. And maybe it'll be successful and maybe not, but I'm doing it. So that was the vibe on set. And, you know, I'm friends with a lot of those guys to this day. And because it was a really tight knit, we didn't have trailers. We were just hanging around and we did all this singing and it's so wonderful. Jed Whedon is fantastic. He did a couple videos with me for the Guild and he's so brilliant. So yeah, it was just great. And it was a learning curve for me because I was a little intimidated with Neil and Nathan, but God, they're such sweeties. It was hard to not just bring out the best in you. So yeah, it was great. And to this day, so many people bring it up. And I think the music really makes it universal.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, to be able to have a song, you know, I think it lasts 10 times as long as dialogue.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, like we karaoke or play at home, My Eyes, all the time and sing it together. Like,
yes. Good. I mean, a fun fact is that the team, that was the first song they wrote and they thought it was the worst song. And I was like, no, you're right. You're wrong. And I was right. That's the best song. I'm telling you. The best
song.
I told them I love it. I love being right.
See,
I'm a know-it-all.
You know what's up.
Yep.
You do your research.
It's true.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever put out any just music?
I mean, man, it would be nice. Add it to the list. I mean,
I'm hoping to the never-ending list of things you're doing.
You know, I wouldn't say. I certainly would love to do more music, and you know, I've been working on a Guild musical for like 6 years. We just did a reading in LA last year. We just did a reading in London with a musical, like an upcoming musical festival, and now we're working on trying to get it done in London. Ideally next year. So we'll see what happens with that. We had a lot of interest from producers, but again, that's been working on it for 6 years. So like the 6-year mark is it's what it is, man.
All right. So now music is on the list. We'll revisit that in 6 years.
Yeah. Tell me. I'll tell you, like, you know, I started working on that album.
We'll talk about music.
Yeah. It's hard.
So is that the normal life cycle of like just anything? Like, it's not you specifically, but does it usually take that long from like I have an idea to like I have an outputted item, like whatever that is?
I don't know. I think Hamilton took how many years? Hamilton, was it 7 years? How many did it take? I'm just looking it up. 6 to 7 years. That was it. Yeah, 7 years. So I don't know. I mean, listen, the Guild. I think everything just takes its time, especially if you're working with other people. Like musicals are just slow and movies are really slow and plays are really slow. They're just a slower format. But, you know, that was kind of when I burned out with Geek and Sundry. It's like you can only output so many ideas before you have to go regenerate new ones. Yeah. Or your well is so dry. It's like I have nothing to, you know, and if you're constantly outputting, I mean, that's why I don't post videos every day. It's like, well, I want to keep that story for a book I write one day that'll last forever versus like people watch it and it's gone. I don't know. The ephemeral nature of entertainment, I don't think if it's not impacting somebody, it's just like vaporware, then I don't know. It doesn't feel as important to put your mind in because you're not developing with the idea. You're just vomiting it out. But whatever you like doing, you should do.
Yeah. Love it. Well, since we're Three Geeks Podcast, what is your favorite thing to geek out over? It's such a great question to ask.
I love authors. I'm not that interested in actors or writers or directors as much for Hollywood, but when I meet authors, I just totally geek out because they create worlds that I live in for over and over and over again. I think that's it. I guess the one thing would be stationery. I just love stationery. I'm going to Japan this summer, and I literally have already mapped out all the stationery stores. I'm taking an extra suitcase. I'm so excited to get soft paper and cool pens.
I love that.
So those are my things.
I love it. Well, speaking of like worlds you could live in, like if you could spend a day in any fictional world from a book, which world would you spend it in?
Like, I mean, I'd probably get a disease if I went in the past. Am I like not going to have a disease?
No, you're safe. You're safe. You're immune to anything in the world.
As long as I'm not going to get weird or like get arrested because I'm a woman and not wearing the right outfit. I would love to see ancient Rome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Just in real life. That would be like my real life one. And then I'd love to see like Star Trek, like I would love to just be, or like the cantina in Star Wars. I'd love to just hang out in the cantina.
Just people watch.
Yeah, just people watching, just to see how people live.
Watching with some blue milk.
Yes, I love that.
That would be fun.
So I love your character in Supernatural. Can you give me any like tidbits of being on the show? Because you popped in and out of that show, and I loved it when you showed up. So it was a lot of fun, at least for me to watch. Yeah, no, I love being on Supernatural. It was a great show. I was on that show almost 8 years on and off. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really long ride. I was only supposed to do one episode, but they really liked my character and they brought me back, and it was just fantastic. So Charlie is such a powerful character. She is unapologetically who she is. She's geeky. She's a fangirl, but like she's part of the world of, I think, a world that she'd be a fan of if she saw it. And I think that's kind of her appeal. And she formed this wonderful bond between herself and the guys where, you know, these are these two lonely guys who can't really connect with anybody because they're hunters. They're like killing monsters all the time, protecting everybody without getting credit. And so having another person to sort of like be with them and understand their point of view and be kind of a family, I know it's really beautiful. So I can only thank everybody on that, you know, behind the scenes who decided to bring Charlie back over and over. You know, it was a wonderful period in my life. And whenever I went up there, I was like, oh, this is home.
I love that. I love that. I didn't know that Charlie was only supposed to be in one episode. So that's super cool.
Same thing with Holly. Same thing with Holly and Eureka. They only, you know, it was one episode.
Wow.
I think it was because the fans really liked it and the ratings were higher. And, you know, I just feel like it's you guys. You guys got me work. So thank you.
Love it.
You're very welcome. It's so funny.
If you had to build a D&D campaign using only characters you've played, who would be on your squad?
Oh, well, only characters I've played?
Mm-hmm.
Probably Red Werewolf Hunter because she's really good at stabbing.
Nice.
Charlie's, I have to be there. Codex is a healer, so if she could, you know, be her avatar self, that would be pretty good. I think Charlie would be more a warrior type. Yeah. And then like Charlie's Gryffindor and I'm Ravenclaw. Like that's the difference between us. A Red Werewolf Hunter would be like a rogue. And then I don't know, did I play the magician at all? Well, I don't know. We needed magic user, but I'm not really sure who I played that I can qualify as that. Maybe Holly, because she's a scientist and science is indistinguishable from magic.
Be a sorcerer. Right? Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
So who are your favorite authors? Do you have? We can talk about those are your Mount Rushmore of people. Do you have a favorite or someone you would suggest people to read that they haven't?
I mean, I have a Goodreads account that's like 8 miles long, I said. So like
never mind. Sorry, never mind. We'll post a link.
It's really hard. I mean, you just have to pick like a category. Like, you know, I try to balance out. I'll read a lit RPG, and then I'll read a big fantasy novel, and then I'll read something romance, and then I'll read a nonfiction, and then I'll go back around again. Sometimes I'll read a mystery, but I used to read a lot more mystery, but now it has to be. There's this great book I just read by Robert something Bennett, and it's like a cozy mystery set in a Cthulhu time, and I just love Robert Jackson Bennett. The Tainted Cup, I think, is the first one. There's 2 of them out, and a third one's coming out this year. But it's like the perfect cozy mystery, but like in a fantastical world. I just love it. So that kind of checked a lot of boxes lately for me. But I'm pretty varied. You know, there's certain authors I'll definitely read more than others, but like I got to be reading. You know, I'll read a lot more than I watch TV, sadly.
I do too. So
yeah.
So when people are like trying to talk about new shows, I'm like, I don't watch new shows.
Honestly, yeah, I know. It's just so hard to add new things because I just want to be comfy. I want cozy. I want cozy watch.
Clothes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cozy watch chair with a book.
Yep. Totally.
That's the life. Well, you know, you kind of told us you were working on the guild and that Kickstarter. Is there anything else coming up next for you?
Man, that's it. That's why I'm so stressed. I'm going to a Comic-Con in Brussels and Netherlands, which I'm really excited about. And then I have my trip. Like my stress relief is planning trips. I'm really good with credit card, you know, the points guy. I love that.com. And so I use my points to get my daughter experiences that I never had. I was super, super poor when I was a kid. I think the first time I went abroad was when I was like 22 or something like that. We didn't even go. We never went to Disney World or Land or anything. We didn't have any money. So experiences were not something I got as a kid. I was homeschooled. So I was like super sequestered. So I do the opposite with my child. I'm like, we're going next year. Where you want to go? And, you know, she gets to pick. That's why we're going to Japan. So I save all my credit card points and I get us a flight and I get us a hotel and then we just jam. So that's what I've been doing stress relief wise. Because the guild is, you know, it's a lot to do a Kickstarter. I actually never realized how much it is to do a Kickstarter, but film is really expensive, you know, like having to shoot. Last time I shot a season of the guild was 2012. And so everything's so much more expensive. It was a big wake up call to what I really need to raise for the movie. And I'm confident we're going to get it, but it's just a lot more moving parts and making sure that people get really interesting rewards. And it's been just a lot of work. And then on top of that, I got to rewrite the script. And then I have to somehow get in shape because I am not a good person when it comes to working out. I'm like, girl, you got to get camera ready. So I'm going to go stress plan where I'm eating waffles in Brussels. And then I'll go and work out on the treadmill.
There you go.
Yep. That's how I'm solving my problems, by doing that. So I don't have anything exciting to share other than that, which is the most exciting thing I've done in a decade. So we'll see. I don't know.
Super exciting.
I hope so. The next year is going to be exciting. Hopefully.
Definitely.
It will be. Well, for sure.
Where can people find you on social media to follow the journey and be able to see the Kickstarter, which we will share here too?
That's so sweet of you. You can follow me everywhere at Felicia Day. And that's it. Felicia.day on TikTok, which is so enraging. And I asked Felicia, the woman that has Felicia Day hadn't even updated for like 6 years, but it's like, I asked them, can you please give me this? And they ignore my email. So it's okay. It's an outlier. TikTok is not my favorite platform anyway. No offense, but I love Instagram. And I've been doing a little bit more on my YouTube channel. But of course, the first thing that goes for my schedule is updating my YouTube channel. But hey, man, I'm busy.
Yeah,
I'm busy. You're busy. You guys are busy too. And especially when you have a kid, you just understand it just got to get a pare down. Yeah. So the good thing is that if you can pare your life down to what's really important, you're always kind of joyously working on everything. And that's it. That's it.
Definitely. Felicia, thank you so much for coming on and for talking with us. It has been an absolute honor to get to speak with you. And we look forward to talking again, hopefully. And I will absolutely share what my daughter thinks about the book.
Oh, please do. Yeah, and where is your bookstore? The Secret City Books? Is that a bookstore?
It is my first novel, actually.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's so exciting.
It's the first of a trilogy. It's kind of like a supernatural story almost. I mean, not like actual supernatural, but like
yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. You're my inspiration now, Destiny, because I got to get through this novel. I have half started so many stories and I'm like, girl, your next bucket list is this after the movie. So I'm taking all that creativity and as inspiration because you got through. I could do it too.
I love it.
Oh, good luck with it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And we will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
See ya.
When I found out I was going to be a parent, I immediately felt a lot of anxiety and worry. So I went on to BetterHelp to try to look for a therapist to help me with that.
My relationship with my family and with my boyfriend and with myself were suffering. I really needed help.
I was ruminating a lot. Really getting those thoughts out to a therapist and getting feedback was just life-changing.
Discover what BetterHelp Online Therapy can do for you. Visit BetterHelp.com today.